Yeah, Grand Rising was popping. It's your homie Bang back with another motherfucking Boo Bang theory. So it's a continuance of this thing we call image and our addiction to it, right? Session 25. And so last time I stopped off, we was talking about social media. We didn't really get into it. I ended off talking about coming back in, talking about social media and the music industry and you know the different influences and shit that kind of capture our attention, right? And so when we think about image, the the ideal of image, and so the ideal of image is someone held by the ideal of image of someone held by the public. So okay, so what I want to say, our image and our addiction to it, right? And how people look at it, the ideal of someone held by the public, the character projected by someone to the public, or reputation, a vivid description or representation, a reproduction of the form of someone likeness. And so this to go up into a little bit, this to jog our mind a little bit, work our mind a little bit. Definition of persona, to portray the part or play the role of, impersonate, to endow with personal qualities, to assume the identity of, with the intent to deceive. And so that's just the definition of personate. So what I started off with, and I know it probably sounds confusing because I was kind of confused in how I laid it out. The first thing I was talking about was the definition of image, and it's the idea of someone held by the public, the character projected by someone in the public, the reputation, a vivid description or representation, a production of the form of someone's likeness. And we could go back and talk about that too, because there's a lot of that shit going on with the doppelgangers. They portraying to be other people and shit. You got the powers that was, putting people up to, duplicating or portraying to be somebody that they not, a look-alike, or it could be a AI, computer type of system that people use to kind of, duplicate people's videos and shit and personate someone's image, right? And so you got a lot of that shit going on too. They call them doppelgangers, lookalikes, or wannabes, fakes, deep fakes or whatnot. And so anyway, image, begins with our race or ethnicity, then our physical skin color, hair color, eye color, and those are like the basics of our image, right? And I talked about that in the last video. Secondary, the material things that we attach to or like clothes, jewelry, cars, makeup, and other accessories, right? So these are things that, put our image together, right? We use these things to, basically put our physical appearance together, right? Third thing is the way we portray ourselves in the world, our community, and our society, or reputation. And so when we get to talking about, you know, image, we all, you know, learn things from our parents, right? Siblings, and those who's close to us. And so some of those things that we learn from them kind of helps us to put together this image, right? I might get the wrong damn folder too. Okay, and so early in age, you know, our parents, you know, they might got a particular style of dressing, a particular way of living, right? And this can vary because, you know, we got to understand that we'll be dealing with people. We got the poor, the middle class, and the rich, right? And so depending on what situation your family was in, you know, if you was a middle class person or a kid that came up in a middle class family, chances are, you know, you was kind of well off. You had what you needed to get through, and you know, and so in school, those was the type of kids, you know, they always had good clothes, nice shoes and shit. You know, the kids that didn't ride the bus, you know, they was basically drove to school and shit like that. And so when you come up in a situation like that, a lot of those kids look down on the kids that didn't have what they had, right? The poor kids, you know, those kind of formed groups. You know, they got the have and the have-nots, and this shit stems back way before our time, right? But it's embedded in us and embedded in our system. And so growing up, you know, we tend to take to these groups, these different groups, and like I said, depending on what class your family was in, you know, might determine, you know, what group you was running with. And so, like I said, you got the have and the have-nots. And so from that early, you know, environment of having whatever you want and getting whatever you need, you know, and having that two-parent home or whatever, you know, you had a different outlook on life, other than you know, you had a different outlook on life, far as the other person who grew up in a poor household, who probably had only a mother in the household, or maybe just the father in the household, and didn't have as much, you know. And so y'all have a different outlook on life, and the way it is, right? The struggles is different, you know. And so for the person who's struggling, who's poor, you know, that's a heavy weight on someone who's just now learning to be a young adult. And so more than likely, most of the time, those young adults that come up in a poor family household got to take on responsibility at an earlier age in a different way, you know. And so the person who grew up in a two-family home who's middle class, their responsibility come different too. And so I think for the middle class kid, you know, their parents groom them to, you know, to work and to have things, and so because the parents already have their shit together and got, you know, what they need, it's easier on that kid to start saving and developing, you know, a financial future for themselves, right? And so they got an opportunity at that early point in age, you know, at that early adulthood, coming out of high school, to start to, you know, gaining and creating, establishing a situation to where they can start making money. And and for the poor household too, you know, for the poor household, they probably go to work quicker, you know, earlier to help that household. And so by them working earlier and taking on responsibility at an earlier age, it brings a different strain on them, right? And so we got our differences. So I said all that to say, the kids who got more, you know, and able to do what they need to do at the early age and start off right and you know get the job, good grades and shit like that. That shit stems from them coming from a good household to where they don't have really too many worries, so they can focus on the task at hand, right? On the other side, the poor class family member, you know, got more struggles on their mind, so it's harder for them to focus on what they need to do for as education wise and for themselves, because they gotta think about not only themselves but their family too, right? While this kid over here on the middle class don't have to worry about helping the family out. The family is good, so they can, you know, do what they need to do for themselves. And so that right there already makes a difference between those two classes, right? And so majority of the time, you know, I ain't gonna say the majority of the time, but a lot of times those kids is well off, you know, tend to be a little mean to the kids who's doing worse, right? And so the image of them growing up to have what they have, having new clothes all the time, and being able to have what they have, getting a car at Sweet 16 and shit like that. When you able to get that shit like that, it starts to create this character, right? And so far as with the poor person, you know, that character started to get developed too with the struggles they go through. And so this determines what kind of person, you know, you're gonna start to develop into, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, for me, I was come from a poor class family, right? So I had to help my family, had to go out there and hustle. I thought I had to go out there and hustle to help my family, you know, bring shit in the house, bring food, help my mama buy shit, you know, different shit like that. At an early age, I thought I needed to take on that responsibility because I seen how the household was, right? And so when you come from that, you don't give a fuck like me. I like fuck school. School ain't helping me out at the house. I'm thinking about what the fuck I'm going home to when I get off out of school, you know what I'm saying? And what we don't got, what I don't got. So it's like, fuck school now. I need to go hustle or do something to help the household and create or get what I need to get, right? To help, you know, to help the household. And so those struggles become to where I don't give a fuck about clothes, you know, the best shit. I need to go help get some food in the house, right? Fuck the brand new Nikes. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, this kid right here, they got food in the house. You know, come from a middle class home. They got everything they need at home. So they can go out there and get those brand new Nikes. They can go get that brand new outfit, you know what I'm saying? Or whatnot. And so that makes a difference, right? And so as we develop though, and you know, and go, like I said, go through school and class and all that, and as competition becomes more of a thing, you know, kids start to, you know, want to do better than the next one. Okay, so I'm gonna do better than this kid right here, and then it goes too with the clothes. Oh, this motherfucker got the new Nikes or the new woo wop wop. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go get the new Nikes. You know what I'm saying? It start early. Start dressing. No, this motherfucker be dressing cold. I'm about to come get me a new fit. And I'm about to come this motherfucker tomorrow dressed tight, you know. And so the competition begins at that age, you know. The competition with dressing. Who can dress the best? Who got the best clothes? Who got the newest shoes, right? Then, you know, who got the best grades? The competition. Who getting the best grades, right? Boom, boom, boom. Who the best in this subject? You know, who the best in that subject? Then you start to get accolades from your teachers. You know what I'm saying? You start to get accolades from outsiders, from, you know, individuals who's watching you, you know, your parents or, you know, the community. They know what type of kid you are, you know. So as you start to develop, you know, and gaining those accolades and getting some sort of kind of like appraisal, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people who's giving you props and all that shit and the shit you do. Sometimes, you know, an individual at an early developing in their mind at that age, you know, at an early stage, teenage life, it's kind of hard to, you know, take those in without becoming self-centered, you know, or becoming, you know, a person who's into self, you know. I'm trying to get the word out. I come back to it, but the thing is, you know, you can sometimes get all these different accolades and appraisal from people, and uh, motherfuckers giving you but I want to say you accomplishing things, so motherfuckers giving you compliments and shit like that. You can take some kids can take that and it can fuel the wrong. It can fuel a negative thing, right? And so shit can get ugly, right? When you starting to get all these people starting to compliment you on a lot of different things, and so you can become big headed, man, and conceited was the word I was looking for, and so like I said, competition start to fuel at that early age, and so for the person who's got, like I said, got more, it can become ugly if you start to, talk down on the kid who don't have, right? And so I'm just saying all this to say this is where the shit starts stemming from. Okay, so then we go into competition, right? You leaving high school, you going into college. College is a whole nother monster in itself, right? And I'm gonna talk about that college shit because that's the stepping stone for our new politicians, our new city leaders. The people who's gonna be